Have you ever noticed that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is not your talent, not your resources, but your mindset? And what I am about to share with you today may disturb you a little, but it will also liberate you. Stay with me till the end. The last lessons will truly change your perspective, because 2026 is not just another year on the calendar. It is a mirror. It will not give you what you wish for. It will give you what you are prepared for. And many of us are ambitious, but very few of us are prepared. Maybe you're watching this thinking, I want this to be my year. I want to grow. I want to win. I want peace. I want success. But at the same time, there is confusion. There is fear. There is comparison. There is that silent voice saying, what if I'm not enough? I understand that voice. I've met CEOs who doubt themselves before big decisions. I've met students who look confident outside but are anxious inside. I've met people who smile in public and break down in private. So today let us go on a journey, 7 lessons, not just for success, but for becoming unstoppable from within. Because if you master these, 2026 will not control you. You will shape 2026. Let's begin. Stop waiting for motivation. Start building discipline. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you told yourself, from tomorrow I will start? From tomorrow I will wake up early. From tomorrow I will exercise. From tomorrow I will study seriously. From tomorrow I will work on my dreams. And then tomorrow comes and suddenly your pillow becomes more attractive than your purpose. We laugh at it. But this small pattern silently shapes our destiny. You see, motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation depends on how you feel. Discipline depends on who you decide to become. Many people believe unstoppable individuals wake up charged with inspiration every day. That is a myth. They wake up with commitment. They don't negotiate with their goals every morning. Imagine a pilot flying a plane. Do you want the pilot to say, today I don't feel motivated to land the aircraft? Of course not. You want competence. You want consistency. You want discipline. Your life deserves the same professionalism. I once met a young man who wanted to get fit. He bought expensive shoes, gym clothes, protein powder, everything except one thing: consistency. He would go to the gym when he felt inspired. 3 days full energy, then 10 days missing, then again 2 days strong. And he would say, I don't know why I am not seeing results. Because results are not impressed by excitement. They are impressed by repetition. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when your emotions are not cooperating. It is choosing long-term respect over short-term pleasure. But here is the deeper truth. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. When you wake up early, despite feeling sleepy, you are telling yourself, my goals matter. When you say no to distraction, you are telling yourself, my future matters. When you complete a task even when bored, you are telling yourself, I matter. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-confidence increases. Not because of applause, not because of social media validation, but because you prove to yourself that your word has value. Think about this carefully. If a friend keeps breaking promises to you, how much will you trust them? Very little. Now ask yourself, how many promises have you broken with yourself? I will start. I will change. I will improve. Discipline rebuilds self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of being unstoppable. There will be days in 2026 when you don't feel like working. There will be days when results are slow. There will be days when nobody is watching, nobody is clapping, nobody is appreciating. Those are the days that define you. Anyone can work hard when they feel good. Anyone can stay committed when progress is visible. But can you continue when it feels invisible? Let me share a small analogy. Imagine you are planting a tree. For the first few weeks, nothing appears above the soil. If you are impatient, you may think nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. Strong, deep, stable roots. Discipline is root building. You may not see dramatic results immediately, but you are strengthening your foundation. And when the tree finally grows, it will withstand storms because of the discipline you built when nobody saw. Now understand something very important. Discipline is not extreme. It is not about waking up at 4 a.m. if your life does require it. It is not about punishing your body or mind. It is about consistent, realistic, non-negotiable commitments. Small daily promises, kept daily. Wake up at the same time. Read 10 pages. Practice one skill. Avoid one distraction. Improve one habit. It sounds simple, but simplicity practiced consistently becomes extraordinary. And here is something most people miss. Discipline creates freedom. We think freedom means doing whatever we feel like, but that often leads to chaos, regret, and anxiety. True freedom comes when you are not controlled by your impulses, when you can say no to laziness, when you can say no to distractions, when you can say no to self-doubt. That is power. In 2026, don't chase the feeling of motivation. Build systems, build routines, build structure. Because when your life has structure, your mind has space. And one day, you will look back and realize the reason you became unstoppable was not because you were always inspired. It was because you were always consistent. Discipline may feel difficult in the beginning, but regret feels heavier in the end. Choose your difficulty wisely. The world does reward intention. It rewards execution. And the bridge between intention and execution is discipline. Start small. Stay steady. Keep going. Because when you master discipline, you don't need motivation. You become unstoppable. Guard your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Let me ask you something very simple but very powerful. If I take a fresh glass of clean water and add just one drop of poison, will you drink it? Of course not. But every single day, we allow drops of negativity into our mind, and then we wonder why we feel anxious, distracted, and drained. You see, we underestimate the power of environment. We think, I am strong. I won't be influenced. But even the strongest perfume, if kept in a garbage room for long enough, will start smelling unpleasant. Environment is not just a place. It is people. It is conversations. It is content. It is culture. It is energy. And slowly, silently, it shapes who you become. I once met a young professional who told me, I used to be very positive, but after joining my new workplace, I feel tired all the time. I asked him, what do people talk about there? He said, complaints, office politics, who is doing what wrong. You cannot feed your mind negativity for 8 hours a day and expect peace at night. Your environment feeds your identity. Look at a small seed. Inside that tiny seed is the potential to become a massive tree. But if you plant it in dry soil, without sunlight, without water, will it grow? The seed is not weak. The soil is wrong. Many people think they lack capability. Sometimes they simply lack supportive soil. Ask yourself honestly, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they pushing you forward? Or are they normalizing mediocrity? Do they discuss ideas? Or only gossip? Do they hold you accountable? Or do they encourage excuses? This is not about judging people. It is about protecting your growth. If you want to run a marathon and you surround yourself with people who mock fitness, how long will your enthusiasm last? If you want to build a business and everyone around you says it is too risky, how strong will your courage remain? Your ambition requires oxygen, and that oxygen comes from the right environment. But here, something even more subtle. Your digital environment matters just as much. What are you scrolling every day? Are you consuming content that inspires discipline, wisdom, and growth? Or are you drowning in comparison, negativity, and mindless entertainment? If you start your morning by scrolling through other people as highlight reels, your day will begin with comparison. Comparison steals confidence quietly. In 2026, be intentional about what you allow into your mind, because whatever repeatedly enters your mind eventually exits through your actions. Now let me share something deeper. Sometimes the environment we need to change is not outside. It is inside. You can change cities and still carry the same fears. You can change jobs and still carry the same mindset. You can change friends and still repeat the same patterns. Your inner environment, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional habits is the foundation. If inside you constantly replay past failures, no outer positivity will sustain you. So how do we guard our environment? First, reduce exposure to constant negativity. You don't need to attend every argument. You don't need to respond to every opinion. Silence is often stronger than participation. Second, upgrade your conversations. Talk about ideas. Talk about goals. Talk about growth. Even one meaningful conversation can change your direction. Third, spend time alone wisely. Solitude is not loneliness. It is an opportunity to reset your internal environment. I know someone who changed his life simply by dedicating 30 minutes every morning to reading uplifting books instead of checking social media. 30 minutes. That small environmental shift changed his decisions, his focus, his confidence. Environment doesn't always require dramatic change. Sometimes it requires conscious selection. And yes, sometimes it requires distance, not hatred, not drama, just distance. Distance from people who constantly drain you. Distance from habits that weaken you. Distance from places that trigger your worst patterns. Because you cannot grow in a space that constantly shrinks you. But here, as the balance, don't wait for a perfect environment to start. Create micro-environments of growth. Your room can become a sanctuary. Your morning routine can become your strength. Your playlist can become your energy. Your reading list can become your mentorship. You may not control everything around you, but you control what you focus on. And focus determines growth. In 2026, treat your mind like sacred ground. Not everyone deserves access. Not every conversation deserves attention. Not every piece of content deserves your time. Your future self is shaped by today's environment. Choose wisely, because when your environment supports your purpose, discipline becomes easier, confidence becomes natural, growth becomes consistent. You don't have to fight negativity all the time, you simply reduce exposure to it. And slowly, quietly, you begin to rise. Guard your environment, because what surrounds you eventually becomes you. Master your self-talk, because the most important voice you will ever hear is your own. Let me ask you something very honestly. If someone followed you around all day and spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would you keep that person in your life? Think about it. When you make a mistake, what do you say to yourself? When you fail, how do you label yourself? When things don't go as planned, what tone does your inner voice use? For many people, that inner voice is harsh, brutal, unforgiving. You're not good enough. You always mess things up. Look at others. They are so ahead of you. And then, we wonder why our confidence is weak. Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. If you constantly criticize yourself, your brain does say, "Oh, this is just a thought." It starts building identity around it. I once met a student who failed an exam, just one exam. But the story in his mind was not, "I did prepare well." It became, "I am stupid." That one sentence changed his posture, his effort, his courage. The event was temporary. The label became permanent, and that is dangerous. Unstoppable people are not those who never fail. They are those who refuse to attack themselves when they do. There is a difference between correction and condemnation. Correction says, "This did work, let me improve." Condemnation says, "I did work. I am the problem." See the difference? One leads to growth. The other leads to shame. Your inner dialogue is shaping your outer destiny. Let me share something simple. Imagine you are training a child to ride a bicycle. The child falls. Would you shout, "You are useless. You will never learn"? No, you would encourage. You would guide. You would say, "Okay, try again." But when it comes to ourselves, we become our harshest critic. Why? Somewhere, we were taught that self-criticism equals self-improvement. But it does. It equals self-doubt. In 26, if you want to be unstoppable, you must become your own coach, not your own enemy. Your inner voice should be firm, but kind. Firm enough to push you, kind enough to support you. When you fail, say, this is feedback. When you struggle, say, this is growth. When you feel fear, say, this is expansion. Because fear often appears when you are stepping into something bigger than your comfort zone. And here is something powerful. The brain looks for evidence to confirm your beliefs. If you believe, I am capable, your mind will search for past victories. If you believe, I am inadequate, your mind will replay past failures. So choose your beliefs wisely. I once met an entrepreneur who had 3 failed startups. 3. Instead of saying, I am a failure, he said, I have gained experience most people are afraid to attempt. Same events, different interpretation, different outcome. He went on to build a successful company. But his success began in his self-talk. Your words become your world. Even subtle language matters. Instead of, I can do this, try, I am learning how to do this. Instead of, I always mess up, say, I did get it right this time. Instead of, I am not confident, say, I am building confidence. These are not just positive phrases. They are identity shifts. And identity drives behavior. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you will quit. If you see yourself as someone who adapts, you will adjust. If you see yourself as someone who grows, you will persist. Now let's go deeper. Sometimes your negative self-talk is borrowed. Borrowed from childhood criticism, borrowed from comparison, borrowed from one painful failure. But just because you heard it once, does mean you must repeat it forever. You are allowed to update your internal script. Every day, speak to yourself consciously. In the morning, instead of reaching for your phone, try reaching for clarity. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Ask yourself, who do I want to be today? Not what do I want to achieve. Who do I want to be? Calm, focused, disciplined, kind. When your identity is clear, your self-talk aligns with it. And remember this, confidence is not loud. It is quiet self-assurance. It is knowing that even if you fall, you will rise. Even if you fail, you will learn. Even if you're rejected, you are still worthy. Being unstoppable does mean you never doubt yourself. It means you don't let doubt make decisions for you. You acknowledge it. You observe it. But you don't obey it. Your mind is like a garden. Negative thoughts are weeds. They will grow automatically. You don't need to plant them. But positive, empowering beliefs, those require intention, watering, care. And the more you nurture them, the stronger they become. In 2026, make a decision. No more self-bullying. No more harsh labeling. No more replaying old failures like a broken record. Speak to yourself like someone you are responsible for protecting, because you are. And when your inner voice becomes your ally, not your critic, something shifts. You walk differently. You try differently. You persist differently. You become stronger not because the world changed, but because your inner narrative changed. Master your self-talk. Because when the world is noisy, your inner voice will guide you. And when your inner voice believes in you, you become unstoppable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Let me begin with a simple question. When was the last time you did something that truly scared you? Not something dangerous, but something that stretched you. Something that made your hand slightly cold, your heart beat a little faster, your mind whisper, what if you fail? Most of us avoid those moments. We love comfort. Comfort feels safe, predictable, controlled. But here is the truth. Comfort is beautiful for rest, not for growth. A seed does not grow because it is comfortable. It grows because it breaks open. Think about that. In order to become a tree, the seed must split. It must push through dark soil. It must face wind, rain, storms. If it chooses comfort, it remains a seed forever. Many of us are choosing to remain seeds. We want progress without pressure, success without sacrifice, confidence without challenge. But growth does not operate that way. I remember meeting a young woman who was extremely talented but terrified of public speaking. Every time she was asked to present, she would find an excuse. I am not ready. Maybe next time. Someone else can do it better. One day she finally agreed. Her voice shook, her hands trembled, but she finished. Afterwards she told me something powerful. She said, "The fear was loud before I started, but once I began, the fear reduced." That is how discomfort works. Fear shouts before action. Courage whispers during action. But here is the part we misunderstand. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. In Job 126, if you want to be unstoppable, you must train yourself to lean into discomfort instead of running away from it. Every time you avoid a difficult conversation, you strengthen anxiety. Every time you avoid a new opportunity because you might fail, you strengthen self-doubt. Every time you stay silent when you should speak, you weaken your confidence. But when you face discomfort, even imperfectly, you build resilience. Let me share a small metaphor. Imagine going to the gym. If you lift the same light weight every day because it feels comfortable, your muscles will not grow. Growth happens when there is slight resistance, when the muscle says, "This is hard." Life is your gym. Rejection is resistance. Failure is resistance. Criticism is resistance. Uncertainty is resistance. And resistance builds strength. The problem is not discomfort. The problem is our interpretation of discomfort. We see it as a signal to stop, but often it is a signal that you are expanding. The first day you try something new will feel awkward. The first time you wake up early will feel painful. The first time you set boundaries will feel uncomfortable. The first time you say no when you used to say yes will feel strange. But discomfort is temporary. Regret is long-lasting. Years later, people rarely regret trying. They regret not trying. Now let's go deeper. There are two types of discomfort. One is the discomfort of growth. The other is the discomfort of staying stuck. If you avoid exercising, you feel the discomfort of weakness. If you avoid honest conversations, you feel the discomfort of tension. If you avoid taking risks, you feel the discomfort of unfulfilled potential. So choose your discomfort wisely. Would you rather feel the short-term discomfort of discipline or the long-term discomfort of regret? In 2086, stretch yourself intentionally. Apply for the opportunity. Start the project. Have the conversation. Learn the skill. Speak your truth. Yes, your heart may race. Yes, your mind may doubt. Yes, you may not be perfect. But perfection is not required for growth. Participation is. I once spoke to a mountaineer who said something fascinating. He said, "The higher you climb, the thinner the air becomes. Breathing becomes difficult. But that, how you know you're reaching new heights. The difficulty is proof of elevation. If your journey feels challenging, it may mean you are climbing." And here is something very important. Do not confuse comfort with peace. Comfort is external. Peace is internal. You can be uncomfortable externally, learning, growing, stretching, and still feel peaceful inside because you know you are evolving. Being unstoppable does not mean you feel fearless. It means you refuse to let fear make your decisions. You acknowledge it. You respect it. But you don't surrender to it. Start small if you need to. Take one uncomfortable action daily. Send that message. Wake up earlier. Read instead of scroll. Volunteer to lead. Ask for feedback. Each small act builds courage, and courage compounds. One day, what once terrified you will feel normal. Public speaking, taking risks, saying no, starting again, because you trained yourself not to run. In 2026 dawn, ask for an easy year. Ask for a strengthening year. Let the challenges refine you. Let the discomfort stretch you. Let the resistance build you. Because diamonds are formed under pressure. Muscles are built under tension. Character is shaped under challenge. And you are stronger than you think. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because on the other side of discomfort is the version of you that is unstoppable.